G'day friends, and welcome to our Stamp and Create Wednesday Live. It's Vicky Wright, Independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, Australia. So today we usually go live on a Wednesday, but as I'm not available, I thought I would pre-record this and hopefully have it uploaded in time for you to watch today. So as we're doing a series of casing the catalogue, I thought what better way than to case the catalogue with the cover. So this is the card we're going to be doing today. Pretty easy, very simple, but one that you could use anything you have in your stash. Okie dokie. So that's what we're going to be doing. So we'll just put that to the side. We're going to be using Artistically inked. I will be honest and say I'm only going to be using the Happy Birthday. We're going to be using the Blossoming Happiness dies, which is that one there, this one just here, because that's how they get that edge there. Okay, so this is the die I've used. I will just say one thing. When you use this die, you probably already know it anyhow. When you put it on your cardstock to cut the edge, be sure that this edge here is on the outside. Okay, if you have it that, let me show you. If you have this edge that side, hold on, yeah, on the inside, you will only end up with a small, this here. I hope I'm explaining that right. So that's got to be, this edge has to be on the outside for it to be cut. Okay, so we're going to be using that one. I'll just put this back before I lose it. And we're going to be using the matching artistic dies that go with the Artistically inked stamp set. And it'll be this big flower here, that big die. Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing. Now, our colours, I think, I'm not too sure yet, Merlot, Saffron, Old Olive and Balmy Blue. Okie dokie. And we might use a little bit of the gold and vanilla ribbon. Now, what do we need? Our card kit. So let's get going. Now I'm using Very Vanilla today, Balmy Blue and Pale Papaya. Okie dokie. So the Balmy Blue has already been pre-embossed with the Timeworn 3D embossing folder, and I've pre-cut our flower. Okay, and I've pre-cut our piece of cardstock. So that's the edge that we're going to be using. Okie dokie. So let's get going. So what I thought, instead of just putting it on there like that and vanilla on vanilla, I thought to add a little bit of depth and interest, we might bring in our, oops, sorry, I just knocked the glue over. We might bring in our sponge daubers, which is why I said we'd be using all those colours. Okay, so we'll start off with our flowers, and we'll use the So Saffron, I think. This one here. Yep. So bring in our So Saffron. Now, I don't know how this is going to look, but we can only try, hey? Alrighty. And all we're going to do is sponge ink over the large flower. When I use the sponge daubers, I tend to take the excess off, just habit. And I'll just make the middle just that little bit darker. Just gently dab your colour around, and I think that'll do. Looks okay to me. So that's our So Saffron. Then what we'll do is we'll bring in Balmy Blue, I think, and we will do these flowers, these tiny ones here to the side in Balmy Blue. Again, I'm just daubing the colour. I'm not even going to take the colour, the excess off. Just like that. And then I'll do this one too. There's two there. So I'm just going to dot these colours, this colour over the top. Just like that. Okay, so that's that colour. That one's done. Then we'll bring in Merlot, and we'll do this flower here, which I think is a rose. I'm not very good with the flower names or names of flowers. So I'm just very gently going over the outline. Just to add a little bit of interest and colour to our shape. And that looks pretty good to me. Okay, so I'll put that away. Then we'll bring in Old Olive, and we'll do our, see, I even like that, so you could even use this as a stencil if you wanted to. So we'll bring in our Old Olive sponge dauber, and we'll do our leaves now. And again, I'm just going over very gently. In some places I'm applying it darker and lighter sort of as I go out towards the top. You could use a couple of different colours if you wanted to, but I'm just going to use these. So if you were to use a darker colour, darker green, you would do the bottom of your leaves in the darker colour and then do the top with your lighter colour. And I'm not going to worry too much about where I've sponged some of the colours onto the leaves. That's nature. We'll put it down to being nature. So that's our green, our old olive. So I'll put that away. Then, oops, sorry, I nearly dropped everything. Then what we're going to do is bring our pieces back in. So this is our base card, Pale Papaya. And I don't have my bone folder, so I'll just use my thumb. And we're going to stick this down onto our base card. When I'm using, when I'm having embossed cardstock, I tend to just make sure that I've used a little bit more glue than normal so that I get a nice, so that I know it's actually going to stick nice and firm onto my card. Okay, so that's that. That's that. Put that aside. Now, the front, the cardboard casing doesn't have the layer. They've used the DSP. They've cut a piece of DSP and just put it straight onto the card base. But I like to have a layer, so that's what I'm doing. Okay. Then we'll bring in our piece of die cut piece of Very Vanilla. Look at that, that's quite nice actually. I like that. I like the colours. I wasn't sure how they'd go. And we're going to stick that down like that. But what we might do is we might pop this up with some dimensionals, if I can find them. I'll just move this down here. I don't want, not that it's going to matter anyhow, ink over the cardstock, but you're not going to see it anyhow, so it won't really matter. And I might add a little bit of interest. So that's this panel. So we can put this onto here, making sure that it's nice and straight. And we're just putting it off to the side a little bit. So it's not actually going to be in the middle. Okie dokie. And then once you know that it's nice and straight, just press down firmly. So that's that. So that's it, that piece there. And that's what we've done here. Okay. Then what we're going to do is, oops, sorry, add a little bit of glue to our die shape, just randomly. You could have used the adhesive sheets if you wanted to cut this, and then it would have let's go that way, eh? It would have stuck right down onto your cardstock without applying the glue. So that's that. Okay, so that's nice and flat. Then what we're going to do is bring in a piece of scrap very vanilla, and we're going to bring in our happy birthday and a block. Just bear with me. And I think we'll use Mary Merlot. Let's clean this up a bit. I'll just take this down so that I know I'm getting it on the block nice and straight. Ink our image or our sentiment. Tap, tap, tap. Now I always tend to stamp onto scrap paper first so I know it's nice and straight, and that's probably out of your eyesight for the moment, so just bear with me, eh? While I stamp this so I know I've got it nice and straight. That's a bit crooked. Oh, and I've got ink all over me. When I tend to work with primary colours, for some reason, I end up with ink everywhere. Okay, let's try again, eh? And that's pretty good. So there's our sentiment. So then what we're going to do is chop that back to size. Get my scissors. So we're going to chop this back to size and our shape. So we'll just go like that, I think. And that's pretty good. Throw that off into the bin. Get rid of that stamp. And that's just going to go there like that. But what I'm thinking is if we add a little bit of ribbon. Let's see how that looks. I'm just thinking if we do this back and forth, I can never get it right. Somehow like that. Just bear with me while I test this out. Might just add a little bit of interest. Let's do that, eh? So, I'm going to bring in some tear and tape adhesive, or we could have used mini glue dots, and I'm just going to put a little bit on the back. And as I said, you could have used mini glue dots, but I'm going to use the tear and tape. Then all we're going to do, probably an easier way to do this, but this is what we're going to do here. Let's do it this way. I'm making this hard, eh? I don't really know what I'm doing, but let's try this one more time. That's it. Where's my good scissors? There they are. There you go. So that's what we're going to do with our ribbon. I might just chop this a little bit shorter. And what I think we might do then is pop this up, eh? One. Two. Three. I think I'll just use three. Bring in our card, make sure it's nice and straight, and we'll just that's one of the reasons why I don't press my dimensionals down firmly straight away, because 9 times out of 10 I tend to move it. And that is our card nearly finished. I don't mind that actually. Then what we're going to do to finish it off, we'll bring in some bling, and I think we'll just use the 2021-2023 in the Opal rounds, the in colour Opal rounds with the pale papaya. Now where's my doobie decker? Here it is. Take your tool pick and we'll just put in, we'll just do the same as what's on our card, on our case. Just copy that, eh? Let's copy just some of it, not all of it. And we might do one just there. Put that back. So that's that. So that's our card, but of course we still have to do our inside. So what we'll do is grab our stamp, a couple of blocks, and we might use this flower, and we will stamp, let's do Merry Merlot. Now let's do Balmy Blue, eh? Make it soft. We'll do one more. So that's that, and of course we've got to do our envelope as well. close that up so I don't get it everywhere. Put that aside. Grab our glue. Put this on the inside of our card, base card, and that is our card all done. So that's our card, and I quite like it. So that's what we've cased today. Totally different look, but same layout. Now, of course, as with our lives or our lives, yeah. This is another one I did. I did this one a couple of weeks ago. I took the same layout on here, on the catalogue, and that's it there. Okay, that's using Celebrate Sunflower. Basic black is the base card. Basic white. Poppy Parade. Granny Apple Green. And Daffodil Delight, and the bling is champagne rhinestones. Okay, but I've got another one for you, which is for the male, and that's it there. Same layout, but I've used whiskey. Is it Whiskey Business? Mary Merlot. Pale Papaya. I've stamped in Pale Papaya as well. That is Early Espresso. That is Rich Razzleberry. I think that's Rich Razzleberry, and that's Rich Razzleberry too. And that's Early Espresso. And I've stamped that in Rich Razzleberry. These are the rustic metallic dots. And that is one for the male or female if you wanted to, just to show you a couple of different looks. Okay, so that's the case. Card number 1 that we've just done, sample number 2, and sample number 3. Okie dokie. So I hope you've enjoyed those, and I appreciate you joining me, although it's not a live today. So enjoy your day, and we'll see you soon. Okay, thanks very much. See you, everyone. Hooray.